All right, it's a beautiful afternoon here in Charlotte. I've got the boards out of the clamps. I'll clean them up a little bit with the plane and then move on to milling the maple and cherry structure. So these boards are S3S. They have a straight edge. So I'm ripping them to a little bit more than 1.5 inches. Of course, cherry burns terribly, but then I'll mill it down to a perfect 1.5 inches when I'm done. It's been a few days since I've had a chance to come out and work in the wood shop, which is always dangerous for a designer because I've decided to make a major change in what I'm building. So originally I was planning on building the top piece, and now I've changed to the bottom piece. And this is kind of based on a lot of study and a number of prototypes. All that means that I'm now changing from this design of kind of a perfect cube with shelves to this design with the tapers, not so geometric, a little bit more furniture-like, and in some ways a hybrid between this piece of furniture and this piece of furniture. So whether it's good or not, we'll see. I think it's kind of interesting and sometimes exciting just to make a huge change in your design midstream. So I'm ripping this cherry into 1.5 inch by 3/4 inch stock. I'll rip it a little bit fat and then mill it down to exact sizes. And I have a door that I can open when I'm cutting longer stock. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Charlotte. I have a slightly updated set of plans. So let's get to it. Okay, these panels have been sanded to 180, knocked off the edges by hand. So it's time to blacken them. This is vinegar and steel wool. It's a little bit old, but I think it'll work. We'll see. Okay, it's been a few days since I've had a chance to get out into the wood shop, so time to pick up the end table project again. I've had some time to think about the tapers, and what I'm planning is a single taper, so just this side, but not this side. I think that's kind of a little bit more modern, but a little bit furniture-like. A Zen master might call it the middle ground between no taper and two tapers. Now the plans, when I drew the elevations, I actually drew a taper in both directions. But elevations are an abstraction. You'll never really see something in elevation. They're a very useful abstraction, but you have to remember that they're an abstraction. And even though this looks kind of square and blocky, with these tapers, you'll never really see it that way. You'll always get a sense of these tapers, no matter how you're looking at the piece. And I kind of like the idea of it being somewhere in between absolute minimalist and just a slight nod towards furniture. Okay, this is kind of the moment of truth to see if this is going to work. I like to start with the Osmo Ultra Thin because I think it penetrates better, and then come back with a second coat of regular Osmo. And I put it in a separate container because the black will contaminate the can if I don't. So let's see. And this is the underside. So some of the discoloration is okay. It's the underside. I think that's going to look pretty cool. Okay, it's another day. Found a little bit more time to get out in the shop. Got these parts out of the clamps, and I'll be drilling for dowels. I've done this one sort of as a proof of concept. You can see the dowels, and these, you just see the holes. These holes are in specific spots. It's funny how long it took me to realize that it's very difficult to start a hole in this direction and have it come out exactly where you want it on the other side, and you tend to get blowout. So it took me a long time to figure out if I wanted these holes exactly where I want them to start in one side and then the other side, and ultimately they'll meet in the middle close enough that a dowel can be pounded through. Then these will be flush cut smooth. So let's get to it. Today is a new day. Might be the final day of this build. I hate to say that. You never know for sure, and it's really not about hurrying to the end. It's about the journey. I need 3 more of these figure 8 fasteners. And I have 3 left. That never happens. So these figure 8 fasteners will allow the panel to expand and contract. But I don't know, maybe it's just me. I think sometimes the underside or back side of things is just as interesting as the front. So the end tables are finally finished. I'm really happy with them. I think they turned out great. I love the blackened walnut and the cherry. There's a couple of coats of hard wax oil, and there's a ceramic coating on the top for durability. I really like how the cherry dowels create a little bit of contrast. I debated about using ebony, as I've done on some, and I may try that again in the future, but I really like the way the end grain, which in the dowels and the end of these boards sort of relates to each other. And I really like the taper. I think this is kind of, from a design standpoint, a place I want to be, where it's clean and it's modern, but it still is a little bit furniture-like. Maybe some shaker influence, maybe some Japanese